Good morning, everyone. It's very exciting to have you all here. This is our second student panel. Last year was so exciting and it was a great success. So we decided to make it bigger and better with a twist.
And the twist is me. I'm Hannah, a neurodiverse senior at Los Gatos High School. I was a panelist last year and they liked me so much. And I like talking so much that they decided to bring me back or to keep Napor in check.
That's right. Absolutely. I could rumble and keep going on. So I need to be in check. And it's an honor to moderate this with you, Hannah.
I'm honored to be here.
So, Hannah, do you want to share how was the experience last year for you?
Before I start, I have dyslexia with dyscalculia and dysgraphia, which means I struggle to process reading and writing and math, so school isn't always my friend. I also have 7 younger siblings with dyslexia and a few with ADHD. My brother is also severely special needs with an NG tube. So I know how hard it is to be neurodivergent in a neurotypical world. Last year, getting to share my story and how inclusion has affected me and how I've been affected by my peers and teachers with their understanding and misunderstanding of my learning disability was inspiring. My hope for the future for neurodiverse kids. It gave me hope for my future with neurodiverse kids. I got to talk about my amazing case manager who fought for me when I was mentally and physically exhausted to fight for myself. But on the other end of things, I got to talk about someone who bullied me and called me illiterate and making jokes at my expense of my learning disability. Oh, yeah. We're here, sorry. We're here to share stories, laugh a little, maybe even shed a tear or two. I know I will. Most importantly, we're here to learn from the incredible journeys of from the voices of inclusion.
Exactly. The panel is all about their unique perspective and to learn about disability from the students themselves. So when I decided, I was thinking about the theme for this panel this year, and I decided that it should be doing hard things. And Hannah, when I was designing the panel before you joined in, and I am doing something different and a hard thing.
What did you do?
I'm letting go of the control. Last year, I had the control. I was the person here in the limelight. So I'm letting go of the control, and that's the hard thing. But it's an honor to moderate with you.
It's an honor to be standing here with you today, Napor. I know how hard control can be to let go of. I think your inner voice made a great choice, and I'm excited to be here. This is going to be fun. Plus, if things go sideways, we can always blame it on the theme, right?
Exactly, the blame games. The blame game, so easy to play instead of doing the hard work, right?
Absolutely. Let's go over the structure of this panel. I will be inviting each panelist up one by one, and they will introduce themselves. Then we will move on to the panel discussion where questions will be asked and the students will answer. And at the end, there will be a question and Q&A from the audience.
At this point, I would just love to know who's in the audience, like general education teachers, if you could just raise your hands. Special education teachers, administrators, parents, non-relate education related folks, organization that supports special need kids. Okay. OT and therapist. Okay.
For audience participation, what are you curious about? If you could take a moment to reflect on your own curiosity that what brought you here or a goal, please feel free to pause, think, or share it out loud.
So just take a moment. What brought you here? Testing.
Hello?
So one thing being in, I have inherited special ed world, and one thing I've learned, we have to be comfortable with the uncomfort things happening. So if something we don't have is we forget about it, we fix it, and we feel comfortable about it. So I forgot to turn on the captions, and we're going to fix it. And testing, 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 testing. Keep going. Yeah, we're going to do the, okay. All right. Okay, okay, it's working. Is it working? It is working.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we need. Okay, so Hannah, you want to do the introduction?
Okay, first let's give a warm welcome to Veena.
Whoop, whoop. Oh, welcome, Veena.
Next, let's give a welcome to Fareen.
Woot, woot, woot.
Next, welcome Shreyas.
Woo.
Last but certainly not least, Sapphire.
Woo-hoo. Okay. I quickly want to share the optimistic objective of this panel is to see the whole child and learn directly from the students, to learn about autism, cerebral palsy, and Q6 chromosomal deficiency and speech impediment, to learn about accommodation and supports that help overcome barriers. Okay. Point, I would love the panelists to introduce themselves, share their name, the high school that you're at, your diagnosis, your cultural background, the interest that you have. And Veena, would you like to start?
Sure. Hi, my name is Vina Marie Aranda Solidum. I am 14 years old and I am currently in ninth grade at Summit Tahoma. And yes, my cultural background is Filipino because both of my parents are from the Philippines. I was born with a Q6 chromosomal deficiency, which means that a small part of one of my chromosomes is missing, which can affect my body and development differently. In my case, I had a delay in reaching milestones as walking, talking, comprehending, and understanding, which is not fast as others. I needed extra help in school because it takes time for me to register my words and thoughts. I also had some balance issues, so I easily fall and hurt myself a lot. I also had some health issues related to my heart, and I underwent surgery when I was just 4 months old. I always go to the hospital for physical therapy and treatment to help me walk. There are so many other things to keep an eye on, but with the support from my doctors, nurses, therapists, and family, I manage the challenges in my life and focus on living healthy and happy.
Great introduction. Yes. Double thumbs up. Fareen, would you like to give your introduction? That's Veena right there.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Fatih Raisi. I'm 14 years old and in the ninth grade at Ghan High School. My family is from Iran, but I was born here in America and raised. One of my greatest passions is sports, especially basketball. I was born with cerebral palsy, which is a group of disorders that can affect movement, posture, or balance. It, it causes It's caused by damage to the brain during development, usually during birth, and can range from mild to more severe. Cerebral palsy is typically shown up during babyhood or earlier in childhood. And while it doesn't get worse over time, there is many ways it can affect a person throughout their life. There is no cure for cerebral palsy, but with the right treatments, therapy, and surgeries, it is possible to improve the quality life for people with this disability.
Thank you, Farin. Shreyas, would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? So 11th grade in Prospect High School. I was a special ed elementary school. I have autism, and sometimes writing on the paper is hard for me. So what I did instead was to type it in a Google Doc, then share it, and then put it on paper, then I put in a number, and then and I realized that when I type it in a Google Doc, it it gives the teachers confidence s- because once they start my time going down, they understand how my writing is clear, concise, and sometimes I need to make writing more concise, but for the most part, it is engaging, sometimes suspenseful, and there's some mistakes I had to overgo in my life, but that's all. Yeah, that's it. I don't think that's it. The mind.
Um, I'm Marianne or Sapphire. I'm years old. I'm in 12th grade, a senior, and I've grown up in the Bay Area my whole life. I'm of mixed European descent, and I've been diagnosed with autism since I was 9, as well as generalized anxiety disorder, and later on premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Um, I also believe I have some mood disorder diagnosis, but I can never remember what it is. Uh,
Thank you, Sapphire. Now we're going to move into this is a little more of Sapphire. The panel discussion. So the first question is for Farin. Farin, what opportunities you got that helped you show what you can achieve?
That is a great question. Since I can't play on my school team for safety reasons, I found other ways to be involved in sports. In middle school, I met Coach James Osorio or Coach Oso, who gave me the chance to be his assistant coach during games. The, that opportunity led me to help the JV football team at Gun now, and I'm also assisting coaching the basketball team at Gun. This opportunity has allowed me stay connected with my passion of sports and show what I can achieve even off the court.
Our next question is for Sapphire and Vina. What challenges have you faced and how did you overcome them?
Since birth, I struggled with feeding, eating, and drinking. It is hard for me to do my self care, so I rely on my family for help with my nutrition and diet. I am a very picky eater, still to this day. I only like white pasta, mac and cheese, plain crackers, and apple juice. Failure to thrive was a big concern until I reached the age of preschool. So I worked with a registered dietitian for my meals and nutrition. I also had a lot of speech and language delays in elementary, and I faced a lot of challenges and setbacks with communication, but I didn't give up. Communicating with others wasn't easy for me, and in preschool, My fine motor skills were very slow to develop, making it hard for me to hold a pencil, use crayons, and scissors. I had to use a rubber grip and a slant board to help me write better. I even used special glasses to help me read and see better. I needed extra help to interact with the other kids around me because it was hard for me to interact with them. Understanding social cues and which made those early years in school quite challenging all the way up to elementary and middle school. Staying focused and following instructions was very tough for me, leading to frustration. But I was lucky to have a teacher aide to support and protect me from getting injured from falling. Despite the physical and academic struggles, making friends and fitting in came naturally to me. I make friends with easily both young and adults. Transferring to middle school from a different school was very rough. More academic pressure as subjects got harder, especially in science, history, ELA, and math. My parents got me tutors, which really helped me a lot. I adjusted to my middle school and made great friends. My classmates accepted me, and from the supportive environment at Indigo, my middle school, my teachers and IEP team made a really huge difference in my life. I am really thankful for all the help from my family, teachers, classmates, and IEP team and the principal because it allowed me to thrive despite the challenges I faced in my life.
Um, I've, as I said, I'm diagnosed with autism and an an anxiety disorder. So my autism affected a lot of my social life. I did not have more than one or two friends at a time. Sometimes I didn't have any. Um, Autism has also made me prone to rigid thinking, misunderstandings that lead to frustration and aggression, and pathological demand avoidance. Um, Sometimes this would lead to arguments with peers or teachers or my parents, and caused a lot of struggles throughout school, especially earlier on. I think um, another issue that I've experienced later on is from my premenstrual dysphoric disorder, um, which causes a lot of uh, mood swings and as well as physical symptoms about the week before a menstrual cycle, um, a period. And so it is pretty much a chronic condition, and I um, will experience struggles in school and with general interaction with other people about once a month for a week. Um, and navigating that, since essentially I got my first period, was very difficult. And I also experience OCD, which has been difficult on the psych side of things. It doesn't affect my education too much, aside from, you know, the psych affecting this education. Um, my autism also probably affects how I learn and how I take in information. I believe I have a slower processing speed with certain things, so sometimes I will need a slower pace or something for like taking in information. Um, what was the second? Oh, and overcoming them is You know, years and years of therapy and meds have helped a lot as well. Um, I think just training new pathways in the brain is a big part of it, of just like teaching yourself to respond in a healthier manner. And it's still a struggle sometimes, but you know, it's a lot better than it was.
Shreyas, do you want to, can you share, can you tell us about your accommodation?
To be honest with you, like in it was social studies the second final exam. So what Miss Sarah did is even though the grapher was online, he gave me a printed copy with the questions. So after I left it all after the walk, and what I was left was to put in the Google form.
Putting the answer in the Google form.
I mean, like also, um, also being autistic is not easy. If you once you get used to it, it's going to take some time. But in the long run, you'll soon realize that you can do it, even though it's very hard.
At this point, I just want to open up to the audience and the Zoom audience if you have any question in particular, and we'll also have questions at the end. Okay, Michael has a question. Yeah.
Thank you. I would like to say I'm very, very proud and very pleased to hear all of your wonderful comments. And so thank you for sharing your experiences. I have been hearing one thing repeatedly, and that the word is taking learning it's harder and it's slower for you to learn things. But look at this way. It's not that if you're slower to learn things. Look at this way. It takes more time to learn. Okay? Look at that way. It takes more time to learn. So be it. Okay. I was born deaf, and I realized the challenges, of learning. The most important thing is to be patient with yourselves, to believe that you will be able to achieve what you want to get in life. Okay? There's no right one way. You have your own personal journey.
Any other question, and Eddie, if you have any audience.
Hi. I just want to say thank you all for being brave and coming to speak at this event. I know it can be very difficult. As an autistic adult, I feel like oftentimes we think too much about our challenges and the barriers we have to overcome. So I would just like to ask you all this. What hopes and dreams do you have for yourself in the future? Any of you?
My hopes and dreams is to be involved with sports, broadcasting, anything that involves with sports. If you want me to be the the medical director, I'll do that. As long as you notice that I'm not a kid, as long as you notice that I'm a normal kid like everybody else, that I have the same values as everybody else, I can do the same thing as everybody else. So if you want me to talk sports, I can do that for 24 hours, 7 days a week if you want me to.
Yes, please, hopes and dreams.
So one of the things that my dream is is I want to create a card so that I don't want any hackers hacking anyone's internet. And also, our planning to increase healthcare and decrease pollution, address climate change. When I grow up, I want to be the next Samuel Carter.
Oh, my mic is still on. Um, I mean, I have a lot of different plans, so it's not like one concrete one. There's many different things that I think I could do in the future, maybe. It's like, it depends on how it all turns out after finishing school. I do plan to go to college, though.
There's a question online from Lisa. She wants to know if they feel being included with their general education peers was a positive or negative experience.
Positive because to be honest, I talk a lot, and the people around me know I talk a lot. My family knows I talk a lot, and sometimes they tell me to stop talking because that's how much I talk. But knowing my friends and how I make friends is positive because I know there's someone I can talk to when I'm like hurt or like sad. So, yeah, that's my answer to your question. Thank you.
Shreyas, did you want to answer the question?
Like what I said, it's positive. Like once you talk to people, it it gives you realize that the people might come for more difficult experience, and it slowly brings all the environment together.
Ravina, you want to answer to that?
I mean,
Hannah wants to answer.
Oh.
Yes, Hannah wants to answer. I forgot. I was thinking her as a moderator, not as a student. There's a co-presenter.
Sorry. I know inclusion like has helped me a lot, but like seeing my siblings be included after not being included for so long, after they changed schools, I saw their mental health change a lot and the way they presented themselves change so much in such a positive way. And I think including neurodiverse students is so important for their mental health and like spreading awareness for neurodiverse people are just the same as everybody else.
I want to give shout outs to people that have included me or like helped me be included. First off, my mom. And by the way, it's her birthday on Sunday. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you. My brother, I love you too, even though you annoy me, but it's fine. I love you. Mr. Grant Allhouse, Miss Jody Snyder, my therapist Praj, Mr. Chris Grierson, and Coach Oso.
And also, in addition to all the illustrative phrase said, and also what I give out to Miss Newpool for accepting me into the world, and it truly realizes that I'm a better person.
Hello. Hi, panelists. It's nice meeting you guys. I'm Charlie. I'm a speech therapist, and I work with students that use augmentative and alternative communication. I have a very layered question, actually. So first, my question is, are you guys all from high schools that are full inclusion?
I think we are. I mean,
Okay.
like I'm in high school, and also I'm in high school and full inclusion.
Okay, wonderful. I'm happy to hear that. So here's my next question because I come from a school district wherein we're still struggling into full inclusion. My question is on behalf of my students that don't actually are not in, are in separate classrooms, is the easiest way to say it. But I'd like to know what your opinion is, or how you feel, or what do you think about knowing that there are other students of greater need in separate classrooms. How does that make you feel? Knowing that other people in the community are in a separate classroom. What do you think about that? How do you feel about it? I'm just very curious. Thank you.
Maybe is very tough because it basically you have different friends than homo, and again it's going against the time to say, but in the long run you get it eventually.
I think it greatly depends on the external setting if it's appropriate to have them out. I mean, if somebody wants to be outside of the classroom, I think they should be allowed to, but I also think having individual settings for people who have sensitivities or issues that make it easier to be in a smaller setting, or I think it should be available. I think there's an importance to having a separate setting that somebody can escape to, because, it while it is good to be included, it's overwhelming for some people at certain times. And I think that it would be unfair for some people who can't deal with the full load of a whole classroom of like 20, 30 kids for the whole school day, to just completely get rid of a separate setting, because it can be a useful tool. But I do also think that withholding students from classrooms that they want to be in is also unfortunate. And so I think it's this balance of using the tool, but allowing students the freedom to explore outside of whatever they've been given as a smaller setting.
Thank you.
And to add on to what she said, well, I have accommodations, and my accommodation is separate setting for like testing. I think kids of high school and like wherever grade you're in should have separate setting, but not all the time. People wanna engage with other people, and you can't do that when you're being held in a separate classroom with no other people, only the teachers. So I think that kids should be in the separate setting, but only if they have like tests, like they can't do it in a classroom and they don't have time. They could do it in another class, but they should be in classes with other students of their age.
Just to add on, I agree with you guys that like I also have separate settings for tests, and it's helped me so much. And I've seen like, I especially with like electives like art, like my art has been fashion. It's always been fashion. And I know there's like some of the girls in that class have like, and I have connected on like, we're neurodiverse. Like this is the one class where everybody's on the same page. And I love helping them, and I love helping the girls I know are struggling outside of that class. And I saw like my brother who's in the audience, like in dance, being in dance, how inclusion has helped him, and like being able to dance with all his other friends outside of his special education classes. I think it's like being in a separate testing setting and like having separate classes for when you get too overwhelmed is important, but it's also important to include people in especially electives, because that's for everyone.
Those are very illuminating answers. Thank you so much.
My own questions. We can continue with the Q&A of audience.
Thank you. I'll stand. Hi, panelists. Thank you for sharing. It was really nice to hear about your experiences. I have a question if you're comfortable sharing. If not, it's okay. But kind of piggybacking off of that, not all school sites or teachers are good at inclusion, right? Or that's not happening. And so my question is, have you had, or can you think about a time when maybe you were with a teacher or even another student who didn't necessarily understand your needs, right? And what you needed to be successful? And how did you address that? Like, did you have a conversation? Did you talk to an IEP team? Like, how did you get past that barrier of someone's mindset?
Student. Or you were nodding your head. You want to go?
I think I can think of incidences where it's the actual teacher, but I think it's actually most common when it's a substitute. They don't know the kids and they haven't been told anything or they haven't read the papers, and then you get in conflicts. And I have certainly gotten in conflicts with substitutes. You know, and they range in severity, but sometimes it's, you know, just disagreeing, and sometimes it's much worse. I think that it can also happen with teachers that they just maybe they have their own needs and that their system, whatever they've set up, is difficult to work with as a kid with needs that are differentiating from the teacher's needs. So it's like, you know, maybe an example, one of my teachers right now doesn't accept a lot of late work because she doesn't accept early work either. She only accepts it right on the day she wants it because she has this everything like planned out because there's so many papers and so many assignments that she needs to set up individual days, because if she's grading on days that she hasn't planned to grade on, it's overwhelming for her, which I can understand, but it is inconvenient as somebody who sometimes needs extra time on my worksheets. So it's like, on one hand, I understand, and on the other hand, this is really inconvenient to me.
So, kind of the same of what Sapphire said. Um, so just people need to, or teachers and need to get to know you before they, was before they like say like, yeah, thank you. Um, before they judge you or like judge what you're doing, because if people do their work on time and they're saying, no, you don't do your work, or no, you don't pay attention, or no, you talk too much, and I'm going to move you, it doesn't mean that I'm not doing my work. It means I'm a good student in that class. I'm just getting carried away. And teachers need to understand that.
I can say the food. For me, it's like I agree with Stefan said. It's a substitute teacher. When you sometimes when you expect a teacher in order to be there, you sometimes get a different teacher that is someone that known of or someone you're not familiar with. So I guess it takes a time before you get used to that.
I think with like teachers that don't understand an IEP, because I know I had the same teacher for 3 years in a row who couldn't grasp it. And I understand like why you can't grasp something you don't understand. But when I'm handing you the physical IEP, emailing you the IEP every year, every semester, it gets exhausting. And but it did teach me how to explain to teachers my learning disability, my dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, and like giving my teachers my physical IEP every year. I did learn a lot from that teacher that couldn't get it, couldn't grasp it, didn't love it, but it did teach me a lot about people and how to deal with them when they don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. There's another question.
Me too. Like one of my teachers in my high school, um, specifically my biology, she wouldn't allow me to like eat my snacks in class when she knows like I can't function well without my snacks. So I need the accommodation to eat my snacks in class so that I can function well. Pretty much.
There's a question from the virtual audience. Please tell me about a time that a teacher made you feel fully accepted and seen as an individual.
Um, you know, if we talk about high school teachers, probably that would be the special ed, but I feel like but I feel Miss Newport that's brought me in.
Yes.
Um,
Which subject was
I
the teacher who
mean,
made you feel?
I mean, probably I would say chem because chemistry, second part exam, the stochastic part was really hard. So what I did is I made foldables so so that if you question so that whatever the question referred to law is, I can use that folder to solve problems.
To give the question before. Mhm. Teacher made foldables for him to use. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Shreyas.
I
Fareed?
actually have two teachers. Well, the first one's not really a teacher, but my middle school principal, Chris Grierson, who's in the audience, uh, he took a moment whenever I felt down. He took a moment out of his very busy schedule to listen to me, and nobody ever listens to me how he listened to me. So, yeah. And also my sixth grade English teacher, just full of excitement and full of joy, and really explained his work into a language that I understand.
Okay. Go ahead.
I said it when I was introducing myself, but I have two people that are like the best teachers I've ever had in high school. My case manager, Miss Reber, absolutely amazing. She fought for me when I could no longer fight for myself because it gets exhausting, especially last year when like junior year is your like one of your biggest years, like, and to keep up with your neurotypical peers is really hard already. But like she was the one who went to teachers when they weren't understanding my IEP after me going up to them so many times. And but also probably the most surprising one was my AP Lang teacher last year was absolutely amazing. Made sure I was included in the class discussions because I told her at the start of the year I get really anxious talking in front of class because I don't want to get it wrong. But she was just so amazing and she was so like comfortable letting me go to the testing center because it's not like usual for someone in an AP class to take tests in the testing center, but she was just so comfortable with it and she was so accepting of it and they were just the best teachers I've ever had. It's off you to press the button.
I mean, to be honest with you, um,
Okay, I'm sorry. My next question is, how often do you communicate with your teachers, your classroom teachers? And what means of communication do you utilize the most? Email or in person or during office hours?
okay, so for me, I would like to contact my teacher when I try when a difficult concept or a grade I fit in, and the best way sometimes in person, sometimes online, but not office hours.
To answer your first question, yes, I do communicate with my teachers all the time, like all the time. And just to know what I'm missing or what I'm not missing or what my grade is or what I need to do. And to answer your second question, a little bit of both, probably like half email, half in person, or I go to and half office hours. Like if they're on a prep period, then I have a prep, then I go to their class, get my work, and then go to the library and do it, and then give it to them at the end of the period because they have a prep and they're available.
I think probably I will have at least a few words exchanged every time I see them. I mean, my school does this like flip-flop schedule, so some days I have three of my teachers, and the other day I have the other teachers, and then I think I'll probably, have some small interaction, even if it's just asking a question about the class. I don't very often communicate about specifically like IEP stuff, but usually I'll just like, maybe we'll have a short conversation after class, just like a normal conversation, or sometimes I'll, need clarification during class and I'll ask questions. Um, it's pretty common that we'll just have short interactions like that. I know last year, two of my teachers I would just like have like longer conversations with. Sometimes I would derail the lesson a little bit, and my teachers mildly tolerated that. I mean, one of the classes was a smaller special ed class, but the other class was a gen ed, and the teacher would have to keep me completely on topic and be like, that's enough clarification. We're gonna try to actually finish the notes. Maybe not phrased like that, but that's what she meant. Yeah.
For me, email. Email is my best friend. I send emails almost every day, and my best friend and my mom both like overview them. So they're like, "Yeah, that's okay. Go send that," because I don't want to send the wrong thing. But I do talk to my teachers after class almost every day. And it got to the point where even my best friend Katrina was coming in with me to make sure like that I was actually saying what I needed to say and not just like letting them go off my like not on my IEP. So, but email is probably my biggest thing because I can say whatever I want, like whatever I need to say without feeling the anxiety of them looking at me.
Yeah. I want to say I'm so oh, thank you. Hannah, you started with that a lot with your self-advocacy, so I'm really impressed by that. And you are all very eloquent in your speaking, so I'm really impressed by that. I work with TK kindergarten kids and then 4th and 5th grade kids. And I wonder, you are all high school kids, and it sounded like from your introductions that you don't, or that you weren't in a full inclusion class when you were elementary level. Is that correct?
I
So
was. I
you
would say
were?
full inclusion except when I was pulled for specific needs.
Oh, okay.
I was
Because
also
our school doesn't have that. I mean, we don't have full inclusion. We started after the pandemic and then we changed. I wonder, do you think that it would help to start from elementary age and go on in inclusion, or is it okay to start in high school?
I mean, I don't really, I've never been in a elementary or middle school setting that like, is I mean, I did K to 6, essentially full inclusion, except for, I think in 6th grade, I had like, maybe 5th grade, I had like one class that I would go into a separate setting, but I was mostly in the main classroom. And I guess it's just like, with high school, it's a lot easier to have that separate classroom, I think, because with middle school, it's like there's so many different classes and they're all taught by one teacher most of the time. And so the high school setting of having different teachers for different subjects, I actually think makes it easier to split up your time between that separate setting or even just have that separate setting every period because, everybody has a different schedule in the elementary. Like the teachers don't have their subjects aligned, at least in my experience. So like, you know, um, they're all teaching, there's two fourth grade teachers and they're both teaching the same subjects, but one might start with math and one might start with literature. And so it's like, if you want one period that's in a separate setting, you're going to need a whole lot more staff than just have a completely separate schedule without taking away a class from that student that is a different subject than the one you're teaching. So it's like a lot more difficult. So they would have to change, I think, the whole way the scheduling works too. If we're going to, I mean, I think with full inclusion, I think also would be a difficult, especially with younger kids sometimes, because they don't have their learned coping skills yet. They don't have a lot of that. And so it would take, you would probably need a, either teachers would need a lot more training or they would need a separate teacher in almost every classroom specifically to be there to support those kids that are higher support needs. And I think, we all know how badly schools are funded. So.
Shreyas, you were in STC special day class, no, and now in get mainstream in high school. How was so? They're asking the question is that if you could mainstream and stay, have that same experience that you're having right now in high school, as early as elementary and preschool, would that be better?
To be honest with you, yes, and also I want to be full inclusive.
I'm gonna talk on behalf of Vina for a minute, but she was full inclusion with a one-on-one aid. Not anymore though. She was when she was younger, and she appreciates that. Yeah.
Joanna. Farin.
I'm also full inclusion, but I still have a one-on-one aid. I just think the aid is good, at least for me, because again, like I said in the beginning, I talk a lot. So, and especially if it's a aide or a person that it can help in school, but can also talk like sports and like, it's like and that just builds, talking sports for me builds a relationship between me, my friends, my aides, or anybody else that I'm trying to be friends with. It's just easier to talk than and do my work with an aide or someone that gets me.
Yeah, I want to represent the parents here. I'm Venus' mom. So yes, we're so blessed that Bina belongs to a very good district. It's anyone from Oak Grove district. So she started preschool there with teacher aides until we went to Indigo Middle School with a teacher aide, which is Mrs. A here. But now she's no longer with IEP. They released her, and we're so blessed with Miss Sadie. Miss Sadie
She
was
was
Bina's.
my ELA teacher when I was, I think, in 7th grade.
Yeah, seventh
Correct
grade.
me
That's
if
why
I'm
we're
wrong.
here.
Seventh
And
grade.
now my worry is because we place Vina to a chartered school now. It's Summit, and we don't know how strong they have IEP, but how strong is the inclusivity in that school. So me and my husband are we're very active, and we asked Miss Sadie if we need to do nonprofit for her in the future. We will. And right now we are seeing her struggling for the first 2 months. So we want to monitor this. So we have a meeting next week for an IEP. So we'll see. Yeah. So right now, like what I'm seeing is, and my question is, how is the support of the Department of Education to Summit, because Summit is also a public school and we don't know. So that's why Vina is there right now, and we have so many questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Vina, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah. Addition to my mom, I also was pulled out for RSP, OT, and speech therapy when I was younger. So that, well, not anymore now, since I'm in high school. But like every single time I do, like, let's say testing or state testing, I'd have to go to a separate room instead of being in my homeroom for like a couple minutes, like until recess. And so that really helped me a lot. And also getting tutors, which really helped me understand like my math, ELA, and other stuff like that really helped me too. So thanks, Mom, for getting me tutors.
Sure.
We have a virtual audience named Maria. She's a preschool teacher, and she was wondering, can you remember your first day of school when you were maybe in preschool? And what was that experience like? Is there anything that teachers can do to make your experience better or improve themselves?
Fari.
So I went to preschool family in Palo Alto. So they originally, like on my first day, they originally put me in a special ed class, and then after school, I believe, um, a teacher there named Mr. French went up to my mom and said he doesn't need to be in a special ed class because he already he already like collaborates with other people very well. So that helped me like know like what I'm doing or like what I can do. So like I and then I was put in to a normal class for the rest of preschool. So and if it wasn't for him, I would still be in a special ed class right now. So
Okay. Oh, hold on to your questions.
Oh.
And there are some questions that I want the
Wait,
responses. Then, do you want to step forward?
Could I just answer?
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
So we first tried a preschool that was next to the K to 8 school we were planning on sending me to, me and my family, we as in my family. And that did not work out. I don't have any exact memory of that day, but I know it didn't go well. And so we dropped out of that preschool, and I started at a Waldorf preschool. And I know the guy who started that is a bit controversial for valid reasons, but the concept is nice. And they had a garden and chickens, and at one point they had goats. I did not learn my ABCs there, but it wasn't a terrible experience. I know I don't have like super clear memories, but as reported from my parents, I would be upset every time I had to come and every time I had to leave. And when we parked in front of the preschool to drop me off, the car would have to be parked right next to a very specific bush. Otherwise, I wouldn't go to preschool. And I think for the actual preschool experience, it's interesting because they really did have like a goodbye ritual type thing. You say bye at the end of the day and then you leave, but that did not help my issue with transitioning. And I know they also like made food there, and I liked some of it, but some of it was like spicy, at least to my very, very sensitive to tongue. So, you know, I guess that's not usually an issue at preschools, though. um, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to like put input into the question about preschools because my preschool experience was so out of the ordinary. But I certainly think engaging with like music and nature's very helpful for younger kids.
Okay. Hold on to your questions. We are running out of time. We have to do another student panel soon. So I want to go over some of the questions that we had. Farin, do you want to talk about what do you want people to believe about you?
Yeah. So I want people to know that despite having cerebral palsy, I deserve to have a chance to learn and grow. I don't want to be defined by my disability. While it might, while might need extra time to do tasks, I, I still can do them. But if I'm tired, then I take more time. But I can still do them. I am determined to get a good education, and sometimes the accommodations that I have aren't enough to get me through the day. So that's where support from teachers and family becomes critical. And to know that they are in your corner is really motivating for me. So, and I would like to give thanks right now to the people that helped me. Again, so my mom, my brother, my elementary school principal, Miss Jody Snyder, who was my case manager in elementary school, my therapist Prosh, who I've had since I was 2, so she's become like a second mother to me. Mr. Chris Grierson and Coach Oso, who's the coach of the middle school basketball team, and also my doctors and my doctors, nurses, and surgeons who helped me get through 2 surgeries in a span of 1.5 years.
Our next question is for Shreyas. How did teachers help you to succeed?
I mean, yeah,
Go ahead, you ask that. That's okay.
That's a Shreyas. Okay. Shreyas, what would you like teachers to know about you?
I think um it's just one word. I think it was just curiosity. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like like me. I cannot think of. I go think of curiosity, and that's my only response.
Okay. Can you try and think about like you're walking around in the classroom? What about chewing gum?
These these things, they're really important things, but I don't. But some days are fine with it, some days are not fine with it. I mean, what I try to say is sometimes they're okay, sometimes they're not okay. Like mixed and not concise.
And you prefer learning by walking around and
I guess so.
Okay. All right. I'm going to switch off in the interest of time. I just want if anybody can answer. What do you wish your teachers knew? Just real quickly, if you just, what do you wish teachers knew?
I wish my teachers knew that I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose to have cerebral palsy. It looks like I can't. When teachers first see me, oh, he can't do anything. Oh, he needs to be in a wheel. Oh, he has an aid. But in the reality, I'm a very hardworking boy. I I do well in school. I'm very kind. I'm respectful to my elders. I understand that I get stressed and like un like and I need understanding and I need patience. I just hope that teachers that I have in the future understand that I need you need to stay patient and understand that I need extra time for everything that I'm doing.
Go ahead, Shreyas.
Oh, my teachers know that I'm curious and hardworking.
This is pretty short, but teachers, I wish teachers knew that that they're that I only that they're just people too, and we're all just people, and that I don't owe them any respect that they haven't deserved, that they haven't done anything to deserve, and that I'm not rude for disliking them because of their behavior, and that you know, that they're not any better than any of us.
Okay. Anybody else want to? What do you wish? No? Okay.
Okay, for the last question for all of you, what does the word inclusion mean for you?
Go ahead.
Ina?
Um, one one thing of inclusion is that even that I can be part of a community or the world, even though it's not the same thing.
Unity in the world.
Inclusion means what inclusion means to me. It means being kind and open to others around you. Uh, Making sure everybody feels valued, especially yourself, and making sure this really stuck with me because it happened. Well, it was a rule in my elementary school. No lockouts, which means let everybody do everything that you're doing. So invite people. If people don't want to do stuff with you, invite them to do stuff with you. That's what inclusion means to me.
I think inclusion is, I mean, in a very basic way, it's taking two groups, two segments, whatever, two or more, and then having them combined and intermingled. But I think it's also equity and giving people what they need to be on the same level. It's not. It's you know, there's like a saying like equity, not equality, because equity gets people on the same level, and it's not just giving everyone the same thing, it's giving people what they need.
Mina.
What inclusion means to me is that making sure everyone feels welcome and part of the group, no matter their differences. It means treating people fairly and giving them the same opportunities to learn, play, and participate. For example, in school, it is not just about having kids with different abilities in the same classroom, but making sure that they can join in the activities, and get the support they need. It is like making a team where all students have a role and is valued for who they are, and that will make our communities more stronger and more diverse.
Each of you has shown such resilience and determination. It's a reminder to all of us that we can achieve great things no matter the obstacles we face. My hope for you is that you were inspired by each other and yourselves just as I was.
I want to thank all the teachers here for listening and learning and therapists and all of you. But I really want to shout out to the parents. Okay, my time is running out. But we might not have any answers, Venus mom, but we keep doing this. And for you to say yes when I called, you believed in your child. We have to go through this unknown. We will find the answer and we'll keep asking for it. So I want to give kudos to you and for all your hard work and believing in your child because you are the first. So thank you. And you rocked it. You rocked it. Keynote speakers next year. Here.